Good morning.
Good afternoon. I got it right.
Evening.
Hello.
Welcome to the Pivotal Perspective. This is a show where we get extraordinaires from everywhere to come and chat with us and you guys about their pivotal ways, tips and tricks to help you level up personally and professionally. I'm your host, Elliot Brown, and I'm here with my co-host, of course,
Mr. Adrian Buse.
And we're going to introduce our extraordinaire this evening, who is a business mindset coach extraordinaire, Irina Buse. Did I say that right? Buse. No,
no, but you're close enough. Thank you so much, though. I love your intro. Thank you.
Do you know what? I really must practice these second names in these global sort of shows. We're
just put, so after the S, just put an H from helicopter, right? So just
Buse.
Buse, not Buse.
Okay.
Buse, yeah.
I do apologize, Irina. I mean, obviously, Adrian will know this because he is also Romanian, although we just established from the other side of the country. So
don't you worry.
You are originally from Bucharest, right? And
yes.
You're in Montreal, in Canada, right now.
Oh, yes, I am. The place where snow was born. If ever you feel like shoveling, you're invited.
Okay, shoveling snow, I'm assuming, yes?
Oh, yes. Fortunately, nothing else, yes.
Thank God for that.
Yes.
Well, welcome to the show, Irina. I'm just going to say that anybody that is watching this, if you do want to see this as a podcast, check out next month because this will be going out as a podcast as well. If you are only listening to this as a podcast, then you want to check us out on YouTube. And this is going out live, usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays at 9 p.m. That will be changing in order. So we're going to tell you over the next couple of weeks what's going on. But for now, let's concentrate on our extraordinaire guest, Irina. And listen, we were talking about mindset last night, or actually we weren't talking about mindset last night, I could say. Hey, Adrian.
Yes, we were. It was a forbidden word in a way.
we had a stress coach on yesterday, and mindset wasn't something that she wanted to talk about. So we can only talk about mindset this evening, Irina. So listen, tell us how you ended up in Montreal to start off with, but also there's quite a story there of what created you becoming a mindset coach, right? So, tell us and the audience exactly what happened, your story and what you do.
Right. I came to Montreal because, honestly, there was no need. I did not run away from any political setup. Nothing like that happened to me. Yeah. Something else happened to me. I fell in love. I got married and my husband happened to live here. He's also Romanian. He came over to Romania to visit his parents, and poof, 3 weeks later, we got married.
3 weeks later?
3 weeks?
I know. But just to give you more, confidence, we've been together for 21 years. So it's still working.
Well,
something must have been right.
So definitely it was love at first sight, and it worked, definitely then.
Yeah, well, he claims to have seen me when we were two, but I don't remember that. Anyways, yes. So what happened is that, he had just finished his MBA in Montreal, and he said, what do you want? You want me to come back? Or do you want me to come over and experience, Canadian type of life? Okay. I was doing pretty well. I was always independent, and I had jobs from very young, although I did my full-time undergrad, and I did all that. But obviously, I like adventure, so I said, yes, let me come. Let me see Canada. I came, and that was painful, to say the least. I started from not knowing one word of any French or English, because, by the way, I live in a French area of Canada, in Quebec. And I can tell you, just to let you, a bit into my feeling at the time, I would have the phone ringing, looking at the phone and saying, what is the point? It could be either French or English, and I don't speak neither. Yeah. So I would just not pick up. I would love to, and I needed it, but it was literally no point, like at that. It was a very dark, 1 year in my life.
Right.
because a language is not something that you learn like this. It's a process. And I cannot even say today I'm a pro in either French or English, but I think I overcame the obstacles in my mind, which is also a piece of the mindset choice, you know.
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
So I went for an MBA where it's really tough to get in, especially when you leave Romania, which is a completely different movie, and you move into this big, wide, wow thing. And what am I going to do here? Honestly, the first day I didn't know how to cross the street and where to buy my ticket for the bus. But anyways, 10 months later, here I am, you know, I'm trying to get into this big program. And you can probably imagine that not English got me in.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to detail, you know, anything about that. I can tell you that in math, I was in the first 4%, you know, for like everybody who took the test in the last 5 years, all around the globe. So I was they probably looked at, you know, the 2 scores and they said, maybe she has potential.
Excellent.
And after that, you know, I really started low also because of my mindset, because everybody coming from a small country, not knowing the language, you know, having these high expectations, because this is how kids in Romania back then were raised.
Even now, don't worry.
Probably even now, because anyways, and that's another discussion, but we can get into that anytime. I have kids and, you know, they go to school and I meet other Romanian parents and I kind of know the difference, you know. You can spot them in the crowd, you know. And so I started low, and you know what? I find that everything has a meaning, and I do not regret it. I think it's a very good experience. It really helped me understand from inside out what's going on. And I work in different types of businesses, manufacturing and smaller businesses, bigger businesses, big corporations too. I kind of, you know, got a chance to look at this employee type of life from many angles.
Okay.
And also to get to know how people feel inside and what people want to do and what happens, you know, between the culture of being an employee and the drive of wanting to be on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And here, just to give you a small piece, you know, of a thought that I had back in the 50s and 60s, maybe 60s, not so much. That's when everything else started. You would ask a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they would tell you what kind of business they want to have. Okay. Nowadays, you ask any kid in school, they're going to tell you what kind of job they want to have. Okay. So this is where the shift happened, and it starts with school, and it starts with society and everything else. But this is not helping, because many people are talented and they have a gift to share. The problem is that they are not educated and they're not taught how to bring that to the table. And at some point in your life, because obviously when you're young and it all makes sense, you're trying to fit in, right? And like I did, you know, I tried to fit in. If an MBA was the key in, okay, let me try that. I did that. I worked as an employee, although I was never a typical employee. I was never happy to just follow. And I tried as an employee to come up with new stuff. And I was trying to be, you know, the element of change. And that never worked. The larger the company, the worse that went.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's very, very difficult to change culture in larger companies. It's easier to do it with individuals in a smaller organization, for sure.
It's easy. You just have to go to about 55 managers, you know, and well, at least 5 of them are always on holiday, so you're never going to get their signatures and stuff.
Well, not here, honestly. Holiday is not the word for Canada and North America. I find they don't believe in that much. But just to tell you, the last large company that I worked for, the average seniority would be 25 years.
Right.
My boss had been there for 35 years. So
happy? He was there happy? After 35 years, or?
I hope he was, because 35 years of your life to look back and think that you're not happy, it would be traumatic.
How did it look to you? Did he look happy?
Like a person who was not challenged.
Okay.
And that's exactly what it is. When you live in the same place, and it's probably more with people, and I do not mean to be offensive, but coming from Romania, I know it's a very, you know, homogenous, if you want, context. And people do not get challenged, even smart people. We have amazing people there. But if they're not taken out of the context, they're not going to see anything else. And they cannot change their perspective. And it's the same thing with a guy who had been there for 35 years, an amazing person. And he was brilliant, but you need to get out. You need challenge. That's what it is, which is something that I had plenty, of in my life. And although it was not feeling comfortable, it was a gift.
So you've had quite a lot of experience. I mean, the reason I wanted to go through that process and talk to us about that is because, as we said before we started recording, we've had quite a lot of people come on that have been coaches or they profess to be sort of a coach of types. Yet when we go through the show, we start chatting to them, there doesn't seem to be as much to back up what they do. And listen, I think experience, your personal experience is what builds you as a coach. There are a lot of coaches out there, and we're going to say this very openly now, that if people want to come on the show and you are a coach of types, we are going to scrutinize you before the show. We do want to understand that you do have something to give that's different, because the world is full of coaches. It's so easy to be a coach these days. And we asked you this before we started recording, didn't we? Because we've had a few people on. Yesterday it was a stress coach, and she had a very different twist on things, and I really quite like that. And mindset is used quite a lot now. Of course it is, because we all want to have a better mindset to work with. But we wanted to know exactly what it is that you do to work with mindsets and to help people. And I think going through what you've been through, you've clearly had to have the right mindset. The challenges of the language barrier. The language barrier is a big thing. I mean, I was in France when I was nearly 20 years old for 6 months in an area there was virtually no English people at all. So I had to pick it up pretty quickly, and you sort of do, don't you? It ramps it up. Street French, though, I can't say that I would. I can't say that I've been to talk business in French very well these days, and that is 20 years ago. But that's why I asked you that, because those challenges are what teach you, and those are the things that you can then impart to others. So, what is it specifically that you tend to work with on the mindset to help people? Because I think you're saying that you can, you work as a mindset coach, helping people, and in your words, to start their business in 100 days or less. That's a big thing. That's a big ask and a big thing to say.
It's a big promise.
Yeah, it is a big promise. So come on, tell us, if Adrian and I were just setting up a business now. I know this is difficult because pick a business, Adrian. What are we doing? What's the business today?
Car wash.
Car wash. Okay.
Yeah.
A car wash. All right. So they've still been running through lockdown, so that's not a bad business. But we'll go with that, shall we? Let's say we want to start a car wash business.
Yeah.
And we're putting you on the spot here, aren't we? But what would it be? If we're going, I can wash cars, it's great, but when you start thinking about it, you overthink things, and then you get a bit fucked up with stuff. And so, what is it that you would do to help us to get mindset ready, so to speak?
See, what I do, it's not necessarily mindset alone. It's a combination of business skills and mindset. They can only go together. And I think it's also wrong to think that they're independent. You cannot have one without the other.
Sure.
And you can read great books on business skills, and you can understand the process. But if you, as a person, are not able to take action, and that involves you as a person, which goes with the mindset. And I say mindset because it's, let's say, easier to understand. But I look at this very holistically. There's so much more to a person than just that, because we say mindset, but let me tell you, the day that you're all pumped up and you're going strong and you're making changes and you're starting your business and you're doing this and that, and the day comes when you don't feel like getting out and doing anything, and you feel like you're discouraged and nothing is working, and maybe you shouldn't be in this adventure at all. And actually, over 90% of the people find themselves in that moment giving in. And that is not necessarily your mind, it's the way you feel. So I would say mindset, but I am including that side of you too. So as a mindset coach now, I, from the beginning, help people build a system that when that day comes, they know exactly how to recognize it, know what that looks like. And mind you, that's going to be different for everybody, because we are all unique. But they need to know what it feels like, and they need to understand the signs, and they need to know that that is normal.
Yeah.
That only makes you human. It's not a sign for you to give up. God did not send you a special message that day. Okay. It's just, you need to keep on going. And this is what you need to do when that happens to you. And given that we are all unique, when we prepare ahead of time, the mindset piece of that is know yourself enough. Know yourself how to deal with yourself when it comes to that. And then you know what to do. And that is like 3 elements. You need to have the system, and you need to have the accountability, and you need to have the support, right? So when that moment comes, you know the system, you know the proper steps in the right order. You need to know what to do, but you need to be able to take them, which means somebody is there to keep you accountable, somebody, someone, or something that you build for yourself ahead of time. And also you need somebody to keep you going, to be that backup for you, emotional backup. Because if you have motivation, this is not coming from here, and it's not coming from your business plan. It comes from here. So you need to work with that piece as well.
Okay.
So we call it mindset, but this is one example. This is one thing that we do in mindset. And then also, I can give you another example that I find very important. I think it's one thing that school fails to teach us nowadays, and it's really it's really so sad. Two things actually. They don't teach us about failure. We do not understand failure, and they do not teach us how to win.
Okay.
They kind of go together, and this is very important for anybody starting a business, because I'll give you a very simple example, independent of all this, discussion. If you have a baby, the baby around the age of 1, usually they take the first steps. You see the baby taking the first step. How do you react?
Happy.
Happy. Wow, she took the first step. Wow, she's a genius. Oh, look, right? Is this how you approach it? The baby falls right away.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Does it matter?
No, I don't suppose it does. No.
The point is she took the step, right?
Mm.
What happened between that experience and 30 years later when you're doing something and you fail the first time? How many times did the baby fall before she took the first step? Did you say anything? Did you say, you're wrong, this is stupid, you're going to be penalized?
Mm.
Does that make sense?
No, of course it doesn't make sense to be so harsh. No, when obviously, but we're not babies now.
We're not babies, but you know what? This is the nature's way. This is how we learn stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll give you another example now. So I was employed.
So you're saying you learn through failure.
You learn through failure, and you need to understand failure, and you need failure. And I'll give you an example. I was a forecaster, and I came up with this new idea, and I had that new system and whatever. So I did my forecast, and the first forecast accuracy run, I was amazing. I was a hero. Everybody was happy. We were thinking bonuses now, like cloud number 9. And then I freaked out because I'm thinking, these guys don't get it. This is the first time I do it. I get the 90 whatever percent forecast accuracy, and I have no idea how to do it again. Do you understand that you get it right once and you have no idea what can happen to you next time, so you don't get the 98%?
Yeah.
How do you find that? If I failed before a number of times, I would know. If you do that, that's going to impact how much? This much. Okay, it's not a good experience, but it's a necessary experience.
I see. So basically you're saying we need failure just because from failure we need to build systems that's going to teach us how to react to that in the future, and rather than being penalized or being stuck in that phase
exactly
anymore. Okay.
Failure is a necessary experience. It's a learning experience. It's something that we need for ourselves to grow as people, and for us to learn about the object of our craft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we speak about this quite a lot. In fact, I've definitely spoken about this when on stage and bits and pieces about the failures and the mistakes that I've made. That's what's taught me and gives me the ability to understand a lot more than maybe your average business person that just sort of or or somebody that works in a company, because I've had a fair number of failures, and will continue to fail and learn from them. I'm sure. So yeah, I absolutely get that you need to learn from that. But mindset wise, how does the mindset come into that? So the fact that if your mindset is the fact that you understand that failure is a tool that you need to use in the right way.
You even plan for your failure. You know that you're going, like Edison. How many times did he try to come up with the light bulb?
Yeah, I can't remember a ridiculous amount of times, wasn't it? I can't remember the amount of the figure.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you need to have that in your business plan. You need to know that you're going to try a number of times until you're going to get it right. Because if you have that expectation, it's going to be a lot easier for you to accept it, to learn from it, and to keep up with your plans. So mindset, that's what it is. And how you do that, it's not going to happen again like this, because we are set up in a way of thinking about ourselves and society and business.
So what do you do if, me and Elliot, we have done the car wash business, we've opened 3 locations, everything was great, and then...
We're up to 3, aren't we? Wow, we're doing
we're up to 3, that's why we have a proper business here. And then something happened, the authorities came and shut them down, and we put all our economies into that. How we overcome this? Obviously, we're going to be a bit destroyed after. We haven't really planned for this,
Wow.
Maybe we planned for just 1, but yeah.
How did you open 3, by the way? What happened there? I missed the beginning.
We're hard workers. We're hard workers. We employ
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So what exactly happened? Why did they?
The authorities came and actually they found out that some of the things were not happy. Well, actually, we didn't bribe them, so that was what they were expecting.
What? Where is it going?
Oh, okay. So you got a legit business.
Yeah. We're talking about legit businesses here, so not like fake businesses where we try to wash drug money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is that you did not do your homework. There are a few steps before you even get a first client that you need to take before even you get the first client that you need.
So what are those steps then? If that's the case, and you're going to get your clients in, whether it be car washing, whether it be coaching, or whether it be, I don't know, a VA, for example, whatever you're going to do to get that first client. How are you going to be mindset prepared? I mean, what are the first steps that you go through to do that?
Well, the first step is market. Obviously, you need to choose something. What do you want to do? And that is a combination of your experience as a person and the market, what feedback you get from the market. And even if you look, it's just like job hunting. You look out and you see, okay, this looks good. Maybe I could do this. Oh, this one looks actually exciting. Maybe I want to do this. No, if you do that, I'm not sure it's really by fluke that you're going to get any results. Honestly, I don't think that's going to work ever. Because what you have to offer comes from you. It's as if going for, looking for a job, but you think, what do I want? What am I good at? Like you put together all those things, including stuff that you're not even aware of. We have a process that, we look even behind that. And you put all that together and then you marry that with what's out in the market. And you're going, the market is what you have to offer. And it's going to go with your experience. And it could be how to make cupcakes or how to dip apples in caramel. And it doesn't matter. It's something that you do right and you can do it, and it's a problem that you can solve, right?
So you're saying mindset wise, if you're going to go set a business up, it's not just about going, oh yeah, I really fancy doing that. It's about actually going, well, actually, what value can I give, and what can I give from myself to make that happen? And does this suit me? Is this what suits me as a person for a business as well? That's a particular type of mindset, I suppose. Would you agree, Adrian?
Yeah. We've all tried things from the past. We're talking a bit more like the shiny object syndrome now. I reckon, and how to avoid that roughly. But yeah, I think you need to go through that a few times just to learn how to avoid it and then move to other things. Yeah. But in our car wash business, actually, me and Elliot, we just both love to wash the cars and all this. It was just the fact that a new law came in and actually we had to shut them down because we didn't have the right drains over there, right? So we couldn't really overcome that. So what happens then?
Yeah, and I'm distraught because we've got suddenly had all this money coming in. We're buying equipment and things, and we're now spent up, and we've got to close them down. How do you?
So basically, I want to say what happens when something that's really unpredictable comes in, or let's say, like I said, the government gives a new law that you couldn't really predict, you couldn't see it, right?
Well, listen, let's use the recent happenings. What's been going on globally. I mean, we were talking about this before we started recording. There's an impact on businesses there that none of us knew was going to happen. It happened very, very quickly, and I was just talking to a client today that literally it was a strange conversation, in fact, and this is actually quite apt because his mindset at the beginning of the conversation was that the results that are a lot slower right now because the amount of people that he needs aren't coming back, aren't being as what's the word? They're not responding as well as they did prior to COVID, right? Mm-hmm. So his mindset at the beginning of the conversation was, it's not really working, things aren't really working, and I'm going, listen, it's taking a bit longer, but if you stop what you're doing now, then in another month or so's time, when all of that work is that you've put in at the beginning and that we're doing for you now, and it doesn't matter what we're doing, but for the purpose of the conversation, I changed his mindset at the end. He was going, do you know what? Absolutely, yeah, we have had good results. We have had good results before. I absolutely see what you're saying. We can continue doing what we're doing because it's a longer game now. There's a longer game. So that was definitely changing his mindset into going, we want results right now, but in a slightly different market, in a slightly different world, it's going to take longer. So that is a slightly different mindset because you've got to think we're playing the long game here. And the people that want the short game want the immediate results right now. There's a lot of businesses failing because they're still expecting those results. Everybody's going to go back to work. Now, I'm using that as an example because it happened today. So there's a prime example, right?
I would go back to his example. First of all, I think that if you did your homework before, you wouldn't be in the position to anybody close your business, because that was probably an issue that you should have known about. I'm just thinking. But then again, I understand.
No, it shouldn't. It happened. Look at let's take the air industry, right? And like the flight industry, like what happened with them right now.
Yeah.
It's just something they couldn't really, even if they do your homework, you would expect something, but not for such a long time. So I'm saying something like this could easily destroy you.
See, the thing is that now we're talking time frame, and it's really out of my league, but I can tell you what I think about it, okay? That is the pivoting again. Like, first of all, people, no matter what, at some point, it's going to be one way or another, people are going to still travel. Maybe not at the same pace, maybe not at the same frequency, but part of that industry is going to still remain intact. The other part, think about it, it's a lot of pieces. It's a lot of equipment that you can actually use for something else, and you can switch. There's something else. Industries die, but there's more demand for something else because people still have needs. They evolve. They turn into something else. Like I'm giving you the example of the gyms. They're empty nowadays, but look at the online workouts and all those channels that exploded. And the car wash, the car wash went bankrupt, whatever. Part of that you can probably salvage. And I really have no idea how that works, but I am thinking that if you know,
I have an idea. Basically, I'll just turn it into something I can just go and I don't know, clean people's houses or disinfect people's houses and stuff like that with the equipment that I have, right? But that was just the thing. It was how do I switch? Because even me, when things go wrong and all that, usually what I stop for a few days and try to kind of put myself together, and usually I go with the mind frame that now it's gonna be bad, right? Or what the hell I'm gonna do now? So it takes me about 2-3 days to get in the right mindset and say, all right, stop bitching or stop crying over there. Just try to fix it over, and make things actually work.
You can actually, you can turn it into I don't know. You sanitize stuff that has been in contact with whatever, and you station that whatever people bring like school buses, kids on a trip, they buy lawn, need to clean them and whatever do with them, So there's new demand. That's what I'm saying. This is something that never happened before.
Okay, and the mindset then, how so the first steps to change these things, right, or to think and try to pivot will be, let's say if you never had the business coach before, never had the mindset coach before, what you should do in general?
You know what I think is really paying attention to the others, and I think this will actually be the second step after you chose your market and your niche.
Okay.
And this is where you empty your head. You do not think that you know. You do not make any type of assumptions, and you listen to the people, and you listen to the way they speak to you, because they are going to tell you what hurts. Many times we live in our heads and we think, okay, I'm coming to meet that demand, but are you sure that demand is what you think? And it's really sad when you start something and you see demand not coming in. But you're reducing your risk if you just go and listen. And this, I'm talking about interviews. You go to, like, let's say you have this idea, and you go to a few people that you think fit the ideal client profile. And you just ask them, but open-ended questions. And you say more like, what hurts you most at this point? And the biggest challenge, by the way, is to shut up and not to make assumptions and to take notes. And do not think, just take notes. And if you can, record them and go back and over again until you hear what they say, because our brain is set up in a way that picks up only what we think is appropriate. But in the process, we ignore a lot of other things that are actually very useful. So also, if you can have another set of eyes looking at the same thing. And the thing is that that's what I do with my clients. 3 columns, and you choose the words that they use, the pain words, what hurts them, and then the solution, and then how you deliver that. So you are going to pick, what life looks after, what life is before, and how you make, the transition. And you are going to listen to them and listen to how they describe that, and then you're going to understand what really hurts. If you have a significant number of interviews, you are going to see trends. If 80% of the people complain about one thing and they would want to have it fixed like tonight, that is your market, that is your client, and this is your next business. And this is how you speak to them about it, because the moment you use their words, they know you listen. It's like, wow, he's living in my head. This guy speaks to me and only to me, So I would think that this is a perfect time to actually go and listen to people, because changes happen and we are not aware. We're kind of behind. We like to cling to something, a reality that we used to know, because that's comfortable. But if you listen to them, you are going to pick up, new demand. You're going to pick up new options. What else can you do next?
Okay, got it.
I mean, listen, we're all about pivoting, obviously, because we're on the Pivotal Perspective. But both Adrian and I are very much about pivoting anyway, and finding ways that we can work better with people, and finding things that you can pivot with, for sure. And in fact, we're going to be telling everybody about things in the next couple of months about how we're going to help people to pivot. But for now, I sort of get what you're saying. I still want to know something that's going to help the mindset. Now, Adrian was trying to go down the path of sort of saying that, and actually being very, very upfront and honest, actually, that, there's sometimes gets to a point where he just has a break for a few days. Now, Adrian's known me long enough now to know that when I get affected with things, and we're constantly pushing, and these are difficult times, whether we've got clients that are, when we're maybe okay, we may be in a better position than a lot of people, but we're also pushing those boundaries. We're also pushing what we need to, pushing forward and trying to come up with new things and pivotal things as well, for our clients, and also for us for the future and the new world of business as well. And it does get difficult days. I've had a particularly difficult day today, and I don't know how to get out of that mindset sometimes, genuinely. Adrian has a break for a few days. I don't have the luxury of having that break because my mind won't let me do it, and I beat myself up for 2 or 3 days. It would be way easier for me to step away from the office for a few days, for sure. In fact, I'm going to drive to bloody Romania next time I get like that, because one, I enjoy the drive, and 2, it's going to take me a couple of days to get there. So what am I going to do when I get to that stage? If maybe that is that the sort of thing you were trying to aim at, Adrian? Is that the sort of thing?
Yeah.
So what would you advise me when I get like that? And I'm being really honest, I get like that, and it will really fuck me up for probably 2 to 3 days. I will push through. but I'm probably only really being 20% as productive as I could be on those 3 days. So it'll be better to stay away.
So tell me now, why would you want to just, break the routine and leave? What would that give you?
If I get in the car and go for a drive, or I step out, or I jumped in the pool, or went for a run, then that is a good way of changing my mindset. That's what I advise people to do myself.
Okay, and if you change your mind, what is the benefit of changing your mind?
Because it's like a reset. You refresh. It gives you time to think. Gives you time to step away. Actually, it gives you time to think about other things because you change your environment completely. But that's what I would advise people. And I'm not a mindset coach. I'm just me.
That's what works for you, basically. Yeah.
I think that's a natural reaction. But what that does actually is reestablishing the balance, because you put so much on the other side until you couldn't take anymore. And now you really need to counter, and you come up with something just as drastic. Because 2-3 days away is a clean cut. It's like, I don't want to hear about this anymore because I really want to refill the other side so I can feel balanced again, right?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I've never taken 3 days break, so I can't. Even if I go on holiday, which has been a good couple of years, a few years. I still work when I'm away, so I don't really ever have that break. To be fair,
that's funny though. But anyways, the point is. You don't need to get to that point. As a mindset coach, what I can tell you is that you build in your everyday what you need so that you keep the balance. No matter what kind of day you have, you do not reach the point where you want to just leave it behind and go.
Really? And so how? Go on, how do you do that then?
This is, for example, learning how to win. We said that before. The point is that everything happening is taking away energy from you.
Okay.
Right? And you put even thinking. Us as humans, we are watching for dangers, and everything we do, we prepare for the moment that danger is going to happen, and we need to be ready to fight it off, right? So everything takes away that energy. The point is, who's you punishing? What do you do with the other side? Because what happens when you do that too much, and obviously every business owner is going to invest a lot of themselves in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are going to reach the point that there is not much more gas. Now, if you go for a long drive, don't you look at the gas? Don't you fill gas before you go? You make sure you have enough, right?
Well, yeah, depends how busy I've been, but yeah, I mean, you do try and do that, but otherwise I'll just fill up on the journey. But yes, I get what you're saying.
Yes, but you think of filling up. That's the point. Here or there, you're going to fill up. You're not just going until you run out.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah, that would be ridiculous.
But that's exactly as ridiculous when you do it in your business, because these are resources and you use them up until you don't have any more, and you're forced, like in the middle of the road, you're empty. Car is not moving anymore. You need to go, 3 days away because that's going to refill your tank. That's the situation. So, but if you make sure, like you said, you stop on the way, you didn't have time now, but you stop on the way and you refill before that moment comes. And this is your routine. This is where you need, and you owe that to your business if you want it to go well. Because if you are well prepared, you are going to make sound decisions. If you're running low in resources, your decisions are not going to be as good. So that's what, it's a small investment, but you need to do it ahead of time. You're going to ask me what? Well, everybody is unique. So tell me about yourself, and I'm going to tell you what you need in your case to be able to refill every day. So at the end of the day, you don't feel depleted. And in the morning, you feel like you have a brand new day ahead and you're able to go through it no matter what it comes.
So in essence, you're saying each person is different. So you've got to find out about them first so you know how to work.
Well, you know what? We're not completely different, but there might be different activities that replenish you, different people that you need to have around. You also need to be aware of the thoughts that are going to eat up your energy, because we are thinking 60 to 80,000 thoughts every day. And 80% of those, we are wired like that. 80% of those are negative. How do you think you're going to feel, just giving away your energy only because you're thinking them? So that's another way. And we're going into mindset, because the more aware you're of those, and the more which are, the top thoughts that are eating up your energy. And if you know how to work with those and how to know when they come, how to switch and how to gauge, how they affect you, that's a huge win. Top 5 thoughts in your life, top 5 negative thoughts in your life. If you recognize them And you need to know I know you're coming, and I know exactly how I'm going to feel if I let go through my mind and take me with you. And that's going to take me to another thought and another thought. And it's not the thought. The thought doesn't hurt, doesn't do anything to you. It's the way it makes you feel. When you feel, that's going to take away your energy. But if you know the thought and it's useless, I know I've been through this so many times and I know exactly where you take me, and I'm not going to play your game anymore. So then when you are aware and you know what to put instead, and this is a conscious exercise that you do for yourself, but at least when to stop it. And then you know what to put instead that is going to replenish you and is going to sustain, your energy in your business, then that's a mindset shift.
There is an average time frame for someone to be able to stop these thoughts or things like that. There is, because I think me and Elliot, both of us, we've tried things. It's difficult to stop that things. For example, I think that technique, that the lady taught us with the breathing, it works a bit better in that case. Sometimes when you have thoughts like that, just because you stop your brain thinking about it, just kind of thinks about, give me some air and don't let me die here. But yeah, I'm just curious if there's any time frame, because training your mindset, first of all, I think it's a continuous journey through your whole life. It's not going to happen in a month or a week or a year. But yeah.
I can tell you that what works is the 5-second rule.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, it works at the point that you are aware.
Food on the floor.
Do we know the 5-second rule?
Yeah, only dropping food on the floor, basically.
No, that's more seconds, they say, but whatever.
Yeah, so yeah, tell us the 5-second rule.
Yeah,
it's when you watch a rocket ship launching, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you count, first you expect an action at the end of the countdown, and second, you do not give into any thoughts. You're counting.
Okay, yeah, because you're focused on counting. Yeah, okay.
There. So that is preparation for you, and that's a window that's going to separate you from the bad thought that is telling you not to go anywhere, like stay in your bed, don't wake up, stay whatever, And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you get up and you go. It gives you enough window to say goodbye to that thought and to get ready for action.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Christ alive, I've counted 100 before to try and calm down. It doesn't work.
Well, 100 is a bit too much, because by the time you get to 100, you already entertain a few thoughts.
I'm being pedantic, but no, I don't know that would work for me personally. I mean, is this something that should work for everybody?
It should usually, if you look at counting and nothing else, yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I recognize that there was a doctor called Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins, right? Yeah.
Exactly. She came up with that idea. I've watched that. I've watched that podcast or the interview that she had talking about the idea with Tom Billieux, and she was great there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like her, and I think that rule works for me. I cannot say that everything she says I apply, but this one I did and it works. You asked me what, and again, could be different things for different people, because
probably we have to try it as well. To be honest, I've tried it at the beginning first time when I heard about it, but I haven't tried it long enough. I have to agree that was just my fault. But yeah, maybe we have to try and practice it.
So you've just got to clear your mind and just count down from 5.
Yes.
To clear your mind is a very tricky thing, and the point is that
I can never clear my mind. It doesn't matter. I mean, listen, I can clear my mind if I'm in the right mood, if I'm in the right frame of mind, and I've got the right mindset, I suppose. And if things are going well, I'm good. Everything's good. But you get a day where just one thing after the other, and I'm not just saying this happens all the time, because it doesn't. But one thing after the other, and just seems that every single thing that could possibly go wrong that day goes wrong. And the next phone call that comes in, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter how much you smile and take that call and go yeah, it's going to go shit. The phone call's going to go fiction. I mean, you can't account for that stuff, can you? I mean, no counting from 5 to 0 and clearing your mind is going to make that day any better, because things. I know there's an attraction thing and all of this and.
No. It's not a lot of traction. And I again, like, depending on how you spend the 5 seconds. If you still think of stuff at the same time, it's not gonna work for you. Yeah. But then there are your brain works. The left hemisphere and the right one, they do different things. Whenever you think is the left side of your brain. For the right side is if you're in meditation, deep in meditation, and thoughts come, go. I don't know, is this Zen type of living that most of us have no idea what it's like, And another thing that you can do, and that is actually pretty handy for all of us. If you close your eyes right now, and you think, okay, what is the distance from my head to the nearest wall, and then to the wall in the front? And then how big is my head if I think of this room? How much space does it take? Okay. Now, if you come back, did you think of anything else?
No, because I was too busy thinking about it. It was a tricky math question. So yeah, I was
listening.
That's not thinking, actually. That's the right side. That's the right side of your brain. This is how you disconnect from your thoughts. This is the only thing special, orientation is the only thing that's going to take you away from the left side. When you feel like you're too analytical and you're too much into your thoughts, you can either do meditation if you're, accustomed to that.
If you can,
works for you, if you can. Or start with this.
I keep talking about meditation. I genuinely, I really badly need it now.
I'm curious about. So, Elliot, how did you feel when you closed your eyes and tried that? Did you manage to disconnect?
I was listening to Irina, and I was trying to figure out exactly how far it was. So I was thinking, is that a meter? Then I'm thinking this is quite a big room. So
you disconnected, yourself basically. Okay, good.
Yeah, but then I'm still trying to figure out how far that is now.
So he left connected. He couldn't come out of that.
Now I'm thinking there's actually a tape measure on one of those desks. I'm going to get that, and I'm going to figure out the distance, and I'm going to measure.
The exercise can go on, and then you can imagine yourself going out in space, and then but it's just space, play with space, play with, like, your body is your reference that you have with you all the time, and then you can, relate to other objects around you, and that's going to, at least for a short period of time, take you out of your mind, out of your thoughts, and then that's going to give you a reset.
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't know that I've completely got it all, but the more I speak to coaches like yourself, and other people that we've had on, I'm definitely realizing that I need to meditate, and I do need to do something to do a mindset shift. Listen, I don't struggle every day, and 9 times out of 10 I'm good, but the days that are bad, and that's pretty entrepreneurial. I think we all get that, don't we? But I do think there's got to be a way of coping. Everybody has different ways, and I think, of course, you wouldn't necessarily suit everybody and every type of person that's out there, and I think there's a different type of coach, whether they deal with stress, whether they deal with mindset, whether it's an empowerment coach. There's a place for a coach for all of us, and all of us that want to move ahead and better ourselves, could probably do and benefit from having the right type of coach. So these are great conversations. There's always something you can pull from them, I'm sure. I'm still trying to work out the distance, by the way. I know my left part of my brain is still trying to do that while I'm also doing this. Really weirdly, I'm still trying to work it out, and I'm going to measure it later on. I'm going to let you know, Adrian. But yeah, I mean, what do you think, Adrian? Do you sort of get that? Do you think the 5-second rule might work if it's something you've learned about before?
I definitely used the 5-second rule when I heard it first time, right? I don't know why I stopped using it. I honestly have no explanation for that. And
I can give you an explanation for that.
Give it to me. Yeah, tell me, please.
It's the habit. It's the way the brain works. Every time you do one thing repetitively, the connections in the brain, they get stronger. And they're called a habit after a while. If you come up with something which is usually a conscious, type of choice, that is a one-time thing, and you're putting this strong connection that is the automatic pilot against one tiny thing you did once. If you want this to last, you have to consciously choose to do it many times until those connections are going to get stronger, and the stronger they get, the weaker the other ones are going. It's like a pattern interrupt every time you choose to do something else, but it has to be often enough that this one gets weaker and you get stronger on this side until this one is strong enough that is going to take over and be the automatic pilot.
Got it. I'll definitely try to use it more and see what happens. But this, for example, this new thing that you just the example that you gave us, with measuring the distancings and looking at the orientation, I never tried before, and it definitely worked for me. I was able to just completely
for sure
think about something else, straight away. And now I'm not thinking about distance. I don't really care about the distance anymore.
That's not
like
the point.
Elliot, but yeah.
That's my
Exactly.
over analytical part, just overworking. It's definitely been overworking recently anyway. Listen, Irina, I get it. I definitely think there's a few things I'm going to pick up from this and use. So yeah, all good. There's a couple of pivotal things we've pulled out of that for sure.
Well, I'm happy. There's a lot to talk about this. And again, I usually talk to people who are, half confused. They want to start something. They don't really know what to do with themselves. They have the drive inside. They kind of feel, the business, but they have no clue what to do with that. And I start from them and I work with the subconscious, and I work with their desires, with their experiences and all that. And I want them to feel good about it, because one of the shifts that I find needs to happen in the world right now is that we need to connect more and to be authentic and to come from a place of service rather than profit.
Yeah.
Because, there's so much distrust and conflict around, and people want to connect in a very different way right now. They're looking for different things. And I find this is the place where you can genuinely, meet your ideal customers. And that's where you start a conversation and you feel authentic and you offer support. And that's where a true business starts.
For sure. No, absolutely, and I completely agree with what you've just said there. But the comments have been very quiet this evening. I'm not quite sure what everybody's doing. It's been a nice day here. Has it been nice? Is it nice over in Europe? Has it been pretty warm today, Adrian?
It's very warm today. It was about 32 degrees, something like that in here. It's hot.
So people are going to be watching this probably afterwards. But of course, the one person who is one of our biggest fans, my mum,
exactly,
said hi. It's your fave as usual. Hi, mum. Big love to you.
Hello, yeah, big love.
Listen, thanks very much, Irina. Where can everybody find you online, your socials, etc.?
I think the easiest way actually to get in touch with me is my website, which is www.irinabuse.com, irinabuse.com. And they can book me for a quick free conversation, and they also can see what others say about my work and what else I offer. And I'm on Facebook. Just look me up. It's my name. On Instagram, Irina Buse IB. I'm on Pinterest and LinkedIn. I think my LinkedIn profile is going to tell you a lot more about my work.
That's going to be your resume, your CV, basically.
Not that much. It's also where, where I've been featured and the articles that I wrote and stuff like that.
Perfect. Okay, go and check Irina out over on LinkedIn. All right. Well, listen. Thank you very much for joining us from Montreal. Really enjoyed talking to you. We may have been giving you a bit of a hard time on some of those bits. We have a quick comment that's come in from Adrian's friend Vlad. Hi, Vlad. Good evening, friends. Okay. Very cool exercise. I'll keep it. Thanks. Please do the outro like yesterday. I shall try and do the outro like yesterday.
I forgot the outro. How was yesterday?
What did I do yesterday?
It was a regular one. Just Vlad. You haven't watched us enough.
Yeah. And Debbie N.O. says, hello, Elliot and guest. Didn't say hello, Adrian. It's a bit rude, isn't it?
Yeah, don't worry. It happens to me sometimes.
Thanks. Thanks anyway, Debbie. Thanks. So listen, maybe we should start asking people to comment. Although we have the banner going across the bottom of the screen, we'll ask them during the show moving forward. But thanks very much, Irina. Been inspiring. I've definitely learned a few bits and pieces that I'm going to try and take away. The measuring thing, I'm definitely going to use.
He's going to do that in every house he's going to go from now on. That's the problem with him.
It's not about the measuring, to be fair. With the crap thing, wait a second. What's the crap thing, Vlad?
We got more explanation.
I'm going to find out after the show, and then basically bring that in. I'm going to have to listen or watch the show back from yesterday and find out what that is. But we'll find out. We'll find out, Vlad, and we'll try and do that in another show. Again, thanks very much, Irina. Of course,
it was a pleasure.
Of course,
very much fun. Yeah, that was good. It was a fun business conversation. Thank you for that.
You're very, very welcome. Listen, you can check this out on YouTube and Facebook, and of course, Essex Business Radio is across all social media platforms pretty well, apart from Pinterest and TikTok, which we will be on both of those very soon. It's all part of the plan. And you can say, so it's Essex Business Radio across the socials, apart from Twitter, which is Essex Biz, BIZZ Radio. And we are building up on all of those. We're getting lots and lots of other people following us every single day. And we thank everybody for supporting us in what we're doing, helping to get news out to people and ideas and ways that you guys can use in the new world of business, but also for you personally. And I think Irina has definitely given us some things to think about on a professional, personal level this evening as well, or morning or afternoon, wherever the hell you are. So yeah, if you want to check out the podcast, the audio version of this, which will be going live in August, then you can go and download our free Essex Business Radio app. They'll have the podcast on there, and we're going to be telling you some stuff about the website that's going to be coming up very, very soon as well, and some new stuff going on in August. Thanks very much for joining us, everybody, whether you're watching, whether you're listening, whatever. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Irina. Thank you, Adrian. And we're going to sign off for now.
Thank you, guys.
Ciao for now.
Brown cow.